insurrection.
Plus, gas prices surge as oil ministers agree to cut production.
And in sports, Ohio football searches for a bounce-back win on their homecoming game. Newswatch starts right now.
Good evening, I'm Emma Dollamere.
And I'm Curtis Fader. Welcome to Newswatch, your source for the latest news impacting southeastern Ohio. A Fraserburg man was arrested Wednesday due to his involvement in the January 6th insurrection at the Capitol.
The Coshocton Tribune reports that court documents placed 57-year-old William Dunphy at the Capitol on January 6, 2021. The documents also say he pushed a metal barricade against U.S. Capitol officers twice, however, he never entered the building. Dunphy was identified on video by the FBI and ultimately admitted to being in Washington, D.C. on January 6th. He is being charged with 2 felonies, interfering with a law enforcement officer during a civil disorder, and obstruction of an official proceeding, along with 5 other misdemeanors.
While the FBI continue their investigations, the House Select Committee is also continuing to look into the insurrection. The House Select Committee investigating the January 6, 2021 Capitol insurrection has announced a rescheduled date for its next public hearing. It is now scheduled for October 13th at 1 p.m. Eastern. The committee was originally set to hold a public hearing at the end of September, but it was canceled due to Hurricane Ian. This will be the panel's 10th hearing, and it has not been specified when and what that topic will be.
Columbus health officials are warning of a huge increase in syphilis cases that mirrors a national trend. Last year's total cases in Columbus spiked to roughly 1,400. During the same time, syphilis cases tripled in Columbus women. Columbus Health Commissioner Dr. Mashika Roberts tells WOSU this has led to a surge in congenital syphilis. This means infants are born with the disease, resulting in many health and neurological issues. If it is left untreated, syphilis can cause neurological issues in adults as well. Preliminary data from the CDC shows a 27% national spike in 2021. Dr. Roberts suspects this trend is mostly driven by substance use. 2 men are wanted for stealing thousands of dollars from a Huntington church. WSAZ reports the Cabell County Sheriff's Office believes the theft happened in a Kroger in Barbersville, where a person who works at Norway Avenue Church of Christ had their card belonging to the church stolen. The 2 men then spent more than $13,000 in fraudulent charges. Cabell County isn't the only stop the 2 men have made when it comes to credit card thefts. The Cabell County Sheriff's Office says the men were in North Carolina just last month doing the same tactics. Anyone with information on the case can contact the Cabell County Sheriff's Office.
The city of Portsmouth is exploring ways to restructure its park system. There are currently 10 city parks, but it has been difficult to maintain those parks due to a loss of income tax revenue over the last few decades. City engineer Nathan Prosch tells WSAZ he does not want to get rid of any of Portsmouth's parks. Instead, he and the city leaders are discussing an idea that would allow local organizations to lease and maintain these parks. Prosch says if the city restructures its park system this way, it would shift its focus from one large park next to the Spartan Municipal Stadium. Prosch says the park would likely include a large walking path, pickleball courts, playground equipment, and more. The city is working to secure some of the grant funding for the park. Athens City Council voted Monday to once again adopt an ordinance that provides tenants tools to avoid eviction. Ordinance 8522, called the Pay to Stay Ordinance, would provide tenants with representation at eviction hearings and help avoid being evicted with whatever the rent they owed their landlord, plus any late fees. The council voted to reconsider the ordinance 2 weeks ago after the council previously voted to adopt it in early September. This decision was prompted by Councilmember Alan Swank's concerns, who felt the council needed to hear more from the judges and landlords. A proposed amendment from Swank to increase the cap on legal fees failed, but the council has not ruled out amending the ordinance in the future. Homecoming celebrations are kicking off tonight at Ohio University as alumni flood into Athens.
Forecaster Aaron Ashley is live at the OU's Yell Like Hell pep rally on College Green. And a look at your weather. How is it looking out there, Aaron?
Hi, Emma. Things are looking amazing out here. And then I've had the luxury of coming out here to tell you all what's happening out here. So right now we're looking at very nice conditions. perfect for a homecoming prep rally for students and alumni alike, as well as the families. It's overall been a very beautiful night. We have a lot of people here tonight, lots of people coming through actually, and we have a lot of student organizations. We even have a live band. I had to get up and I had to move my little setup all the way over here just so you guys could hear me. But overall, we're looking at very nice conditions outside. We saw cloudy conditions earlier, but thankfully, just in time for this prep rally, it seems that these clouds have really cleared out a little bit. We're looking at the temperatures in the upper 60s to lower 70s. It's on the warmer side here in Athens with a slight breeze, but overall, looking at the region, temperatures are quite warm for a fall evening, cooler in the valley. We're really just looking at those clear skies. Overall, we're looking at a very nice evening ahead, and that's going to translate later into tonight. If we really look across the entire region, you're going to see very similar skies, just like the ones right above us. You might see the patchy cloud or two, but expect overnight. We are looking at a chance for a cold front to move in tomorrow. And so I will talk about in my full forecast what we can expect this weekend for your entire homecoming forecast. I appreciate y'all taking the time to visit me out here at the homecoming pep rally, but I'm going to throw it back to you guys at the desk.
Looks fun. Thanks, Erin. Oil ministers cut production, what that means for you at the pump.
Plus, as the midterms near, reports show voter energy surrounding abortion is diminishing. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
You'll be charmed when Loretta Lynn, the Queen of Country, shares her music and memories.
I looked at the songbook and thought, well, heck, this is easy. So I threw the songbook down and wrote my own songs. She made it okay for women to go, yeah. I just sang.
Look for Loretta Lynn on American Masters.
Friday at 9 on WOUB.
On American Experience. In Tulsa, Oklahoma, they were a thriving black community in a segregated world. But in 1921, it would all but disappear.
I remember the white people coming in with torches, setting our house on fire.
They were shooting from airplanes.
My husband said, baby, we've lost everything we had.
Going back to T-Town on American Experience.
Saturday at 9 on WOUB.
Predictive policing.
It's artificial intelligence.
You look at past crimes to predict the future.
And the future is now.
What will a human being do tomorrow or the next day?
Hey, give me all your money, man.
Can the predictions be trusted?
The algorithm only knows what it's been fed.
Who's accountable when systems harm the communities that they're designed to serve?
Computers versus crime on Nova.
Wednesday at 9 on WOUB.
October is here. There's no better time for high school football. This Friday, St. Clairsville travels to take on rising stars of the Buckeye 8, the Union local Jets. Washington Courthouse battles Chillicothe, looking to set up an FAC title match with Jackson. And in a game with high stakes for the MSL Buckeye, Bloom Carroll defends their title against Logan Elm. So join us on Friday night at 11:30 p.m. on WOUB. And remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights and gridiron glory. A drastic cut in global oil output is coming.
And the streak of gas prices on the decline may now become a distant memory. Chris Wynn has the latest from the nation's capital.
Less supply of crude oil equals less supply of gasoline. Less supply of gasoline at current demand levels equals higher prices.
Oil experts are warning the price of gas is about to surge after OPEC Plus oil ministers agreed to cut production by 2 million barrels per day.
We are not endangering the energy markets. We are providing security, stability to the energy markets.
At a price.
Everything has a price. Energy security has a price as well.
The decision is a major loss for the Biden administration, which had launched a full-scale pressure campaign in a last-ditch effort to dissuade Middle Eastern allies from cutting production, according to multiple sources.
What's your reaction to the OPEC Plus decision?
Disappointment, and we're looking at what alternatives we may have.
Now, 5 weeks before a high-stakes midterm election, the Biden administration is frantically sifting through options to keep gas prices down.
We believe we have the tools here at home to work with our allies and to work with Congress to make sure that we address the mistake that OPEC made yesterday, which was the wrong direction. And again, I believe it will have less of an impact in the United States and far more of an impact on lower income countries around the world.
There's a lot of alternatives. We haven't made up our mind yet.
In Washington, I'm Chris Wynn.
President Joe Biden is taking his first major step toward decriminalizing marijuana. He said he will pardon all prior federal offenses of simple marijuana possession. Senior administration officials say the move would affect thousands of Americans. Biden will also encourage governors to take similar steps to pardon simple state marijuana possession charges. The move fulfills a campaign pledge to erase prior federal possession convictions and begins the process of loosening federal classification of the drug. Marijuana remains illegal under federal law even as individual states have moved toward legal use for recreational and medical purposes.
Extensive safeguards will be in place for the midterm elections. That's according to the FBI, which says any efforts by hackers to breach election infrastructure are, quote, unlikely to result in large-scale disruptions or prevent voting. The Tuesday advisory was issued just 5 weeks ahead of the November election. It aimed to combat claims that U.S. elections have been manipulated through hacking, which were proliferated after Donald Trump's 2020 electoral defeat. It's been more than 100 days since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, and as the midterms draw closer, some Democrats are urging abortion rights advocates to vote. Amy Kiley reports how abortion is playing a role in this year's election.
Democrats are trying to energize abortion rights supporters before elections next month. That's as some polls suggest voter fervor might be waning.
November 8th, we'll decide what kind of state we're going to be.
Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers called a special legislative session yesterday. He asked lawmakers to let voters decide if the state should keep its 1849 abortion ban. Republicans who control the Assembly and Senate ended the session in fewer than 30 seconds and without action.
Congress should codify the protections of Roe.
Abortion access is a rallying point at the federal level, too.
We're short a handful of votes. So the only way it's going to happen is if the American people make it happen.
In Georgia's Senate race, the issue is center stage for a different reason. Republican Senate nominee Herschel Walker is issuing a strong denial after the Daily Beast reported he paid for a girlfriend's abortion 13 years ago.
I never paid for an abortion, and it's a lie.
But will abortion be a key factor in the midterms? 4% of people called it their top concern in Gallup. That's down from 8% in July.
American public have an important role to play. They can make their voices heard on this issue.
We want justice. We want it now. I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Recovery efforts in Florida continue 1 week.
Welcome back. I just ran all the way up here. And so we're looking at tonight's weather, and I'll talk about the rest of it in my full forecast, but meanwhile, make sure you check us out on social media, on YouTube, Instagram, and on Twitter.
You'll be charmed when Loretta Lynn, the Queen of Country, shares her music and memories.
I looked at the songbook and thought, well, heck, this is easy. So I threw the songbook down and wrote my own songs. She made it okay for women to go, yeah. I just sang.
Look for Loretta Lynn on American Masters.
Friday at 9 on WOUB.
October is here. There's no better time for high school football. This Friday, St. Clairsville travels to take on rising stars of the Buckeye 8, the Union Local Jets. Washington Courthouse battles Chillicothe, looking to set up an FAC title match with Jackson. And in a game with high stakes for the MSL Buckeye, Bloom Carroll defends their title against Logan Elm. So join us on Friday night at 11:30 p.m. on WOUB. And remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights and gridiron glory.
On American Experience. In Tulsa, Oklahoma, they were a thriving black community in a segregated world. But in 1921, it would all but disappear.
I remember the white people coming in with torches, setting our house on fire.
They were shooting from airplanes.
My husband said, baby, we've lost everything we had.
Going back to T-Town on American Experience.
Saturday at 9 on WOUB.
We're losing ground
on making Black America.
But at the same time, there is this explosion in Black institutional life.
The places.
Black women really were at the forefront in entrepreneurship.
And secret spaces.
Those queens were dressed to the nines.
That built Black life.
On the page, on the stage, we still make life swing.
Tuesday at 9 on WOUB.
Welcome back. Long time no see. I'm your lead forecaster, Erin Ashley, and right now you can really start seeing those warmer temperatures that we've been seeing overnight and heading into this morning, Look at that high temperature for today. It was at 72 earlier, and like I said, that high for today, 72, and the low for tonight's gonna be right there. 48 degrees is gonna be a lot nicer than what we've seen over the last couple of days, and that's because of the mostly sunny skies that we are looking at right now. We've been seeing very cloudy skies, and if you look at the local radar, you can see none of that really translated into a lot of rain, maybe a spotty shower or two up in the northern plains, but overall it's been very, very beautiful, very nice day. That's because of some high pressure that's sitting right over our area. But as you can see over here out towards the west, we got this line of precipitation that is really starting to move out towards the east. And that's something we're tracking as our next possible weather maker. It'll definitely bring clouds heading into homecoming Saturday. But for tonight, it's only gonna be partly cloudy, 48s. Again, that's gonna be that low. It's gonna feel a little cool, grab that jacket, but overall, much warmer than what we've been seeing the last couple of nights. That's because of that high pressure that was sitting just over us. But tomorrow, expect that cold front to just drape across our region. It's gonna bring much colder temperatures tomorrow. We're looking at a high of 58 degrees, mostly cloudy skies because of that cold front moving out towards the east. And that temperature, that low, is gonna be pretty close to freezing, 37 right now. And it's gonna be even colder heading into Saturday. We're actually tracking the chance for some frost. So if you're heading out Friday night, make sure that you bundle up because we're actually seeing another chance for some precipitation, in the form of rain. But as that temperature really gets close to that freezing point, expect the chance for frost to develop on the ground. Looking at the homecoming weekend, we're looking at mostly sunny skies as soon as that cold front really drives through our region. Temperatures remain pretty cool in the upper 50s to the lower 60s. And that sun will start to appear as soon as Saturday, just in time for that homecoming parade. But again, it's gonna be cold starting out on Saturday, so make sure that you plan accordingly, bring that jacket. And if you look ahead at the whole week ahead, we are actually tracking our next chance for rain well into next week, so we don't have to worry about rain for the next couple of days. Tomorrow we're seeing those chances for the clouds move in. That's because of that cold front. But mainly the thing that cold front is going to bring is cooler temperatures. We're not really tracking the largest chance for rain. But again, cooler temperatures are going to be the thing to look out for, especially if you look at that low on Saturday, 34 degrees starting out the day on Saturday. It's going to be really, really, really chilly. Make sure you bundle up, get some thick socks. You're gonna thank yourself. I can promise you that, because as you can see, that trend will just carry out throughout the entire weekend, and it won't start warming up until well into next week. But by this time next week, we are tracking a chance for some showers, along with some beautiful, beautiful temperatures in the lower 70s. That's all the time I have for your full weather forecast. Back to you, Curtis.
Sounds like an eventful day for you, Erin. Thanks for the great work. It's been more than 1 week since Hurricane Ian slammed Florida, and hundreds of thousands of people in hard-hit regions are still feeling the lingering effects of that devastating storm. Gloria Pazmino is in Fort Myers, Florida.
Give me water. I don't need electricity. I have a candle.
For people along the battered Gulf Coast of Florida, it's going to be a long while before things return to normal, as both the cleanup and recovery efforts continue.
We're hopeful that we're going to find individuals alive. There's a lot of wood frame construction here where people may just be trapped.
More than a week since Hurricane Ian left the path of destruction, some people are now dealing with life without electricity, clean water, and damaged homes.
We just have to fix up our yard. But then our neighbors, I mean, that house over there, we know all these people.
According to poweroutage.us, across the state, close to 200,000 customers are without power as of Thursday afternoon. And people living in more than 22 Florida counties are without clean running water. Boil water notices in place for dozens of areas.
There's a big humanitarian mission here. There's a big public safety mission here.
Meanwhile, other hard-hit regions are taking small steps towards normalcy. In Naples and the rest of Collier County, students returned to school Thursday for the first time in over a week.
They got to go to school, get back to regular routine, and it helps parents out.
And on the decimated island community of Sanibel, residents allowed to return to unrecognizable neighborhoods.
Oh my God, their house is gone.
And as Floridians pick up the pieces of what's left of their homes, their resilience in full display. In Fort Myers, Florida, I'm Gloria Pasmino reporting.
As recovery efforts continue, Floridians are not alone. Recovery teams from 33 other states, including Ohio, have made their way to Florida to help with the recovery efforts.
Coming up in sports, hear how Ohio soccer fared in their MAC contest against Northern Illinois this afternoon. That story and more when Newswatch returns.
Predictive policing.
It's artificial intelligence.
You look at past crimes to predict the future.
And the future is now.
What will a human being do tomorrow or the next day?
Hey, give me all your money, man.
Can the predictions be trusted?
The algorithm only knows what it's been fed.
Who's accountable when systems harm the communities that they're designed to serve?
Computers versus crime on Nova.
Wednesday at 9 on WOUB.
You'll be charmed when Loretta Lynn, the Queen of Country, shares her music and memories.
I looked at the songbook and thought, well, heck, this is easy. So I threw the songbook down and wrote my own songs. She made it okay for women to go, yeah. I just sang.
Look for Loretta Lynn on American Masters.
Friday at 9 on WOUB.
Next time on The War. Fresh troops are tested in North Africa.
Over here, we all know it. The worst is yet to come.
As America redefines freedom.
I'm going into combat with my folks behind barbed wire.
And the skies take their toll.
If you met a guy and bought him a beer, tomorrow he would be gone.
In part 2 of The War.
Thursday at 9 on WOUB.
We're losing ground.
On making Black America.
But at the same time, there is this explosion in Black institutional life.
The places.
Black women really were at the forefront in entrepreneurship.
And secret spaces.
Those queens were dressed to the nines.
That built Black life.
On the page, on the stage, we still make life swing.
Tuesday at 9 on WOUB.
Welcome back, I'm Grayson Wolf. Ohio soccer just wrapped up their 5th conference game of the year. Coming into the game, Ohio was searching for their 3rd straight win. The Bobcats beat Miami last Thursday in Athens, and their last time out was a road win against Eastern Michigan. Before today, Ohio was 2-2 in conference. But they are now 2-2-1 in the Mid-American Conference after a tie against Northern Illinois. Ohio got the scoring started late in the second half with a Reagan Berg goal assisted by Abby Townsend. Less than 3 minutes later, Amber Best of the Huskies tied the game at 1. After that, in the final 25 minutes, both teams went scoreless and it ended in a 1-1 draw. With the tie, the Bobcats stay in 7th place in the MAC right behind the Huskies. Buffalo and Ball State are tied at the top of the conference, and Ohio fell to the Bulls 2 weeks ago and will face the Cardinals on October 16th. The Bobcats look to make it 4 in a row when they travel to face Bowling Green on Sunday, who is 8th in the MAC. The Ohio volleyball team is currently in Mount Pleasant, taking on the Central Michigan Chippewas. The Bobcats are 2-2 in conference with a sweep over Miami, and then they were on the receiving end of a sweep against Bowling Green last weekend. Central Michigan is 3-1 in conference, including a sweep over MAC West rival Ball State. The game is currently in a second set with Ohio leading 22-19. Ohio took the first set and they are looking to close it out. Ohio travels to Ypsilanti, Michigan tomorrow for a bout with Eastern Michigan Eagles before having a week off and heading back to Athens for a 2-game series against Buffalo next Friday. The first of the 2 is Ohio's Dig Pink Night to raise breast cancer awareness, and that will be at the Convo. The Ohio field hockey team is currently on a 3-game skid. They look to right the ship tomorrow as they head to Indiana to take on Ball State. The Bobcats have dropped games to VCU, Kent State, and Michigan State in the past 2 weeks. They boast a 5-5 overall record and a 2-1 conference record. Ball State is also looking for their 6th win of the season. It's homecoming weekend and the Bobcats are ready for the Akron Zips and that huge OU crowd. The Bobcats are coming off a loss to the Kent State Golden Flashes 31-24. However, this week the Bobcats are projected to win against the only 1-4 Zips. The Bobcats can count on Curtis Rourke, who is having an outstanding season for the Bobcats and threw for 322 yards against Kent State last week. Ohio head coach Tim Albin says this weekend is extra meaningful. Week is a special one. It's a special time. It's beautiful with the trees and all of that. I think our guys have an edge about them. I hope that their effort level is on the same road as it gets home, with the energy with our student section to our back and not to the visiting student section. Our guys feed off of that." End quote. Basketball season is right around the corner. The MAC released their national television schedule this morning. The Bobcats game against Kent State on Friday, January 13th will be televised on CBS Sports Network. Ohio fell to Kent State in the MAC semifinals last spring, but beat the Golden Flashes when they came to the Convo in January. Guys, it's going to be a really exciting weekend. We got football, we got the parade, great weather from Aaron earlier. It's just going to be a fun time.
Definitely. I'm just scared because when OU nearly lost to Fordham and they gave up 50 points. Everybody's saying we're favored against Akron. I just don't know. Well, for now, let's go back to final weather with Aaron Ashley.
Thank you, Curtis. And Grayson really said it best. We're looking at very nice weather over the next couple of days. Starting with tonight, it's going to be on the warmer side. Low of 48 degrees, partly cloudy skies, and that translates tomorrow into only a high of 58 degrees, mostly cloudy skies, contrary to what we've seen over the past couple of days. And that temperature heading into Saturday will dip as low as 37 degrees. Make sure you bundle up as you head throughout the weekend because those lows are looking quite low, especially on Saturday. 34 is going to be the low for that day. We're expecting a chance for frost to arise as that low gets really close to the freezing point. And as that cold front moves through the area, bringing a lot of moisture, and it will form on the ground as fog. So fog or frost, excuse me. So if we head into earlier next week, expect those temperatures to really rise with the presence of a high pressure system. And overall, we're looking at a beautiful start to next week. And homecoming weekend is looking a little chilly, but by Sunday, expect those sunny skies to make their return.
Thanks, Aaron. Finally tonight, Halloween is right around the corner, and ahead of the sugar-filled holiday, CandyStore.com is out with an interactive map of all 50 states' favorite Halloween candies. In Ohio, the most popular candy is M&M's. Ohio thought it was the odd man out, but nationwide, the most popular Halloween candy was Reese's Cups, followed by Skittles. CandyStore.com used 15 years of sales data to compile the list. The National Retail Federation estimates U.S. consumers will shell out about $3.1 billion on Halloween candy this year. Now, that's a lot of candy, but do you guys have a favorite?
I feel basic. My favorite is Reese's Cups by far. It's no question.
I'm personally a true Ohioan, I guess, because I love M&Ms, especially the mini ones.
Yeah, I'm definitely a Kit Kat guy. I love the king size with the 4 different, you snap them off and pop them off.
I just like the M&M commercials with J.K. Simmons being the yellow M&M. That's just my favorite. I actually never really liked candy. My sister got double the candy, so that's unfortunate for me. But that's all for our broadcast this evening. Thank you for watching. For all of us here at Newswatch, I'm Curtis Fader.
And I'm Emma Dolomere. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And reminder, you can find the latest news anytime at woub.org. Have a great night.
Support comes from Visit Athens County. More information